Hello and welcome to the next lesson in the series, Learn to Play the Violin with Me. Let's continue working on number 90 on page 25 of the Essential Elements Violin Book 1, English Round. We had gone over this, but now we're going to put it all together. Not yet though. Let's review first. Let's look at the first two measures and let's try playing them nice and slow. They are all on the D string until that open A in measure 2. So the rhythm is quarter, quarter, half note, quarter, quarter, half note. So make sure that you're pulling the bow or pushing the bow the entire time so that the half note sounds for both beats. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Let's try it again. Remember, there's the F sharp repeats. It's the last note in measure 1 and it's the first note in measure 2. So we play the F sharp twice. Here we go. Let's try those two measures again. 1, 2, ready, play. All right, let's skip to measure 4 and play F sharp, E, D, quarter rest. Let's see. F sharp, here we go. F sharp, measure 4, ready, play. Rest. Remember what that apostrophe looking thing is on beat 4? That's a bow lift because we're playing a down bow for that last note D, but we have the repeat sign, so we go back and start with a down bow. So we have to lift up the bow and put it back by the frog so that we can do another down bow. But before we do that, let's look at measure 3. So first we are going to play the first 5 notes in measure 3. A, D, D, C sharp, D. We're going to try that a couple times in a row so that we get the fingering right and we get the rhythm right as well and the intonation. Let's try those first 5 notes of measure 3 starting with open A. Then get your, find the correct placement of your third finger for the D and then hover it over the string so we're ready to go on the second note D. Here we go. Let's try it. Those 5 notes. 1 and 2 and ready, play, and. Let's try that again. 1 and 2 and ready, play. Try it again. Ready, play. All right, good. Now we're going to play the last 4 notes of measure 3. So we are playing that high D that we just left off on. We're starting there. We're going to play D, A, A, G. So we are playing on 2 different strings in that within those 2 beats or 4 notes because we are going back to the D string to play that G with our third finger. So we're using the third finger twice in these 4 notes to play the D on the A string, and then we're lifting for open A, and then we're shifting to the D string with our third finger to play the G. So the good thing is the D and the G finger placement is the same. They're just on different strings. So as long as we just shift our finger to the next string over, we can keep it in the same distance from the scroll. So let's try D, A, A, G, D. Let's try those 4 notes. Ready, play, and. Let's try that again. Start on D, D. Ready, play, and. Wasn't quite smooth there. Let's try that again. Ready, play, and. Let's try it again. This time I'm going to try to not look at my left hand at all. I'm going to try to keep my eyes on the music. You do the same. Let's do it. Ready, and. Okay, now the fun part of putting that measure together. So we'll try it nice and slow. Remember, speed is the last thing that you should be adding because we want to make sure our eyes, our hands, and our brains are all in sync and have enough time to process the information. Let's try those 8 notes of measure 3. Nice and slow, starting with open A. Let's get our finger placement right for D, the 3rd finger. Here we go. 1 and 2 and ready, play, and. Let's try it again. Here we go. Ready, play, and. Okay, let's try it again. Ready, play, and. Okay, I think we're ready to finish and put together measures 3 and 4. If you need a little bit more time to perfect and work on measure 3, you can pause it now and keep practicing that and then come back. Let's put together measures 3 and 4. Here we go. 1 and 2 and ready, play, and. Rest and bow lift. Let's try that again. Measure 3. Ready, play, and. All right, I think it's time to try the entire thing. So remember, there's a repeat sign, which means we play these 4 measures 2 times in a row with a bow lift at the end of the first line. Here we go, nice and slow. The tempo marking is andante, which means slow at a walking pace anyway, so there's really no need to rush. 1, 2, ready, play. Repeat and. Rest. Great job. Let's look at the next one, number 91, lightly row. So just like number 89 on the last page, this one has 2 lines of music, an A line and a B line. So they're each 2 lines long, right? So what we're going to do, the same process that we did before, we'll learn A together, we'll learn B together, and then since they're supposed to be played simultaneously, I will play one while you play the other, and then we'll switch. First, let's look at the music. Let's see. Do we have any new notes? No. We don't have a repeat sign. We do see that on the A's, there's a number 4 above them, which means that we're playing on the D string. We're playing with our 4th finger instead of open A. So that's going to be a little bit, at least trickier for me, starting with the very first notes. It looks like we're staying on the D string the entire time for both lines. Okay, all right, so that's good. At least we're staying on the same string the whole time, but it's that pinky placement that we're going to continue working on for this piece. All right, let's look at Let's look at letter A, and let's try to sight read it nice and slow, the first line. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Let's sight read line number 1 of A, really slow, starting with open A, not open A. A with our fourth finger, so find the placement there. Oh, see how they aren't quite the same because I was playing open A and the A on the D string, and they didn't quite sound the same, which means I need to adjust the finger of my the finger placement on my pinky. I tuned right before our lesson, so I know this open A is in tune, which means I need to match my pinky placement so that I'm creating the same note on both of the strings. A, there we go. So let's try it nice and slow. 1 and 2 and ready, play. Okay, couple things to work on there. Let's try the first two measures. Let's just try measure 1. Since we have 4 different notes that we're playing there, the rhythm is 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So we're starting on the A, fourth finger. Because this is our newest note, at least the finger placement, you still might be working out the muscle memory of where to place our pinky, but that will come with time and practice. Let's try measure 1. 1 and 2 and ready, play, and. I think my F sharp, my G, and my E were all a little bit sharp, so let's try that again. Ready, play, and. All right, let's try that one more time. A, ready, play, and. Try that one more time for me. I'm still working out the shifting of the angle of my hands to be able to play all 4 notes on this string. Here we go. Ready, play, and. All right, let's look at measure number 2. We're going up by step, right? It means 1 note, then the very next one, up, 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 up. And the rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's try it. Here we go. Ready, play, and. Let's try that again. I'm going to try use a little bit more bow for those notes so they sound a little bit stronger. Ready, play, and. All right, let's put measures 1 and 2 together, starting on A. 1 and 2 and ready, play, and. All right, if you look at measure number 3, it is exactly the same as measure number 1, except the bowings are opposite, because in measure 1 we started with the down bow, but in measure 3 we're starting with an up bow. So instead of down, up, down, up, down, up, we're playing up, down, up, down, up, down. So we're still just alternating, but this time we're starting on an up bow. So let's try measure 3, but starting on an up bow. So we're starting here by the tip. Hello. Here we go. Measure 3, starting with an up bow. Ready, play, and. Okay, and let's move on to measure number 4, starting with an up bow, open D. Now we're skipping by thirds, right? D, then F sharp, then A. So we're playing open, second finger, fourth finger, second finger. Let's try that. Ready, play, and. Let's try it again. Ready, play, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Because we're practicing so slowly, that half note seems to last forever, but it is lasting for 2 beats. We're just playing 2 really slow beats. Let's try all of line number 1, and then we'll be done for the day. Here we go. So we're looking at number 91, line A, the top line of line A. Measures 1 through 4. Let's start with finger 4A. 1 and 2 and ready, play, and. Three and 4 and. Great job. All right, that's it for today. I can't wait to see you and finish this piece together in our next lesson.